Okay, welcome to another VMA-214 Blacksheep training video. For this one we're looking at a rolling vertical takeoff. So we're just going to reposition the aircraft, and we don't have a lot of fuel on board. We've got 3,300 pounds, a couple of sidewinders and a gun pod, and we're just moving it out to the ship. So we've loaded up with not a lot of fuel, enough to get out to the ship and put it on the deck, and we're here at RAF Kingsfield, and all we need to do is take off vertically and head off. But because of the pavement here at Kingsfield and it's not really rated, that would be a time we'd use a rolling vertical takeoff. In reality we'd probably use a short takeoff, just because the runway is here, but we'll demo this rolling vertical takeoff. So some considerations for us at the moment is, let's look at the VREST. You can see we've got vertical takeoff there. We want to make sure we have the capability. So at the moment it says fuel plus water wet 4730, dry 3292, and we have 3,300 pounds of fuel on board with 500 water, so 3,700. So we can't do a dry, but we can do a wet vertical takeoff. So for a rolling vertical takeoff, you want to ensure that you have the capability for a vertical takeoff, to give yourself adequate margin for the transition to wing-borne flight. So we're all ready to go here. We just release the brakes.
Caution, caution.
And we'll taxi out here at Kingsfield. Runway 23 here at Kingsfield. Just check the weather. So we just listen to Larnaca.
This is Larnaca Information Unit 4. Runway in use is 22. Wind 223 at 10 knots. Rain. Visibility 1.6. Temperature 25 Celsius. Altimeter 2982. Remarks. 1010 hectopascal. End information unit 4.
Okay, 10 knots of headwind pretty much down the runway here. You can see from the windsock that's what it looks like. Now to set up for the rolling vertical takeoff, we're going to use stow stop at 70. So we'll bring that up now to 70. And we said we needed water on, so let's go water to HDO. Takeoff. So the RPM comes up a little bit there. We check for that rise. Now we're just going to run the thrust up a little bit and we'll move out onto the runway. Now we're going to achieve a really short takeoff roll here, in the order of probably less than 100 feet. So what we're looking for is, rather than a nozzle rotation airspeed, because we could take off vertically, we're going to use an RPM setting. So as soon as we get to max RPM, 110%, we're going to rotate the nozzle all the way to the stow stop at 70, hold the wings level and let it get airborne, and then witch's hat back up to the pitch carrot, and then start our transition to wing-borne flight. Gear up and away we go. So a couple of things to watch for. We want to make sure the water light comes on here, and we just want to keep our eye on that wind vane. At the moment we've got a little crosswind from the left. I'll just run it up and check the duct pressure. Nozzles to 30, there's a duct pressure increase. I'm going to run it all the way through to 70, and we've got the flaps extend to 62 and back down to 10, idle, and away we go. So check we've got caster.
Limiter off. Limiter off. Limit.
And check we've got the caster. Nose wheel anti-skid is on, and we have cast enunciated in the HUD. I'm going to hold the nose wheel steering button for steering. Bring the thrust up. As soon as it starts skidding, I'm going to release the brakes and look for 110%. 10, rotating the nozzles, and away we go. Gear up. Pitch is hat to the pitch carrot.
Altitude.
And nozzles to around 30.
Altitude.
And we start our transition to wingborne flight. Keep rotating the nozzles forward. 0, 190 knots, flaps to auto, and away we go.
Caution. Caution.
And that caution is telling us we've still got the water on, so we can turn that off. And that's the rolling vertical takeoff.